What up, everybody? Big D coming back at you with another great show tonight. Hope you're all doing well. But before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. You get all this great and amazing content for free. I know. Amazing, right? Amazing. I can bring it to you. But it only happens if you guys help me out by smashing that like button and, of course, being a subscriber to the channel. Also, mind you that click the link tree that's pinned down in the comment section or in the description below and go support my advertiser sponsors and preferred retail partners. They help continue to keep all the programming coming on the show that you know and love. And I'm trying to give back to you. Whether you're looking for cigars, you're looking for accessories, I got you covered. Make sure you use the exclusive promo codes that are only available to my viewers out there to save you some coinage. And, of course, I'd be remiss to say, please go check out the boutiquecigar.com. Of course, Ira and Danielle, they have taken over there, the official retail shop of the 505 Nation. And, man, they just ran a killer deal. I hope you got involved in that deal this weekend. 30% off everything in the store. That includes boutiques, name brands, heritage brands, and, of course, some of their the TBC custom lines. If you missed out, man, I got some killer deals on a bunch of sticks I've been wanting to pick up. So, but make sure you head on over there. Use code BIGD15 to check out, get 15% off your order. And Ira has also told me that if you spend $100 in the store, you spend $100 on the store, and you use my promo code, so that's going to take 15% off if you buy $100. So that makes it $85. But if you spend $100 or more in the store, he's going to throw in a free 5-pack of Oliva Series V's as well. So that's a $40 value right there. Killer. So check out boutiquecigar.com and use that promo code BIGD15, and Ira is going to take care of you. For tonight, though, man, I got one of my favorite boutique brands on the market joining me tonight. I got introduced to these guys, and then I fell in love with their cigars. And they just continuously put out banger after banger after banger. And it's been a while since I've had these guys on the show, and I wanted to bring them back on. It's supposed to be both of them, Mike and Keith from Lovely Cigars, but we have just Mike tonight, and that's all right because Mike and I will just go ahead and, run it back as two sweet and innocent boys that we are. My man, Mike, welcome, sir.
What's happening, man? How have you been?
I've been good, bro. I've been good. How are you been?
It's cold up here in Wisconsin, but other than that, it's things have been good. You know,
I bet it is. Well, before we actually start, I have to say one thing to you. How about them Bears? How about them Bears?
I was wondering about the hood. I was wondering. I was.
I was trying to keep it all hidden so you wouldn't see it when you were in the green room. I'm like, keep all this down. I don't want to rub it in too much.
Hey, I mean, first time in how many years you guys have something to rub in? So you should be able to do that.
I'm looking forward to rubbing it in for years and years and years.
We'll see about that.
Man, good to have you, Mike. We caught up at PCA last year, but doesn't mean I haven't been smoking your delicious cigars.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Which one do you have tonight?
My all-time favorite, the 162.
Fantastic. I am having our Bay City Maduro Robusto Gordo. So I'm a big fan of all of our stuff, but I've been digging our Maduro a lot lately. So,
isn't it funny how your palate kind of just changes and shifts around? Where it's like now you're really big in Maduro, but in like 2 months you're going to be on to like a Connecticut or a Habano.
It absolutely changes, from one day to the next, even. But specifically, like you just mentioned, it can be. Just go through Maduro, for a while. It's like, all I want is Maduro, and then all I want is Habano, and all I want is Connecticut. Yeah.
That's where I'm at now. but since about November, I've been really big into broadleaf, and that's been like very heavy on what my smoking preference has been. Broadleaf, and I know that that'll probably change here shortly into something else, but I've really been enjoying this trip down broadleaf lane.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, they're all good, right? Like every cigar is a good cigar, I think, and it just it just depends on your mood, depends on the time of year. I think for me in winter, it's for some reason in Maduros. In summer, I get way etiquettes. I don't know what the deal is, but that's
Yeah. Oh, we're all right though.
man.
Oh my.
Up and things that are happening, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, I know some people know, but we actually went into an agreement with Stolen Throne. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so Stolen Throne been working with Lee Marsh over there, and they're actually doing our distribution for us now.
Oh, wow. Because last time I talked to you, you had Luxury Cigar was doing your distribution. So now you've moved over to with Lee and Stolen. Nice.
Yeah. So I've been working and talking with Capowitz, who's been working with those guys for a long time, and he put us in touch with Lee, and just from a complimentary standpoint, I mean, their stuff is different than our stuff. They're a little heavier than what we put out there.
Yeah.
We thought, hey, it makes a lot of sense. We could work with those guys, and awesome guys. We love the people at Luxury still, but from a just where we're looking to go, what we're looking to do, it made a lot of sense to try to work with somebody else. And Stolen Throne is amazing. Put out some awesome product, and we're excited to be part of that family. So
Yeah, that's great out there. So does this mean that we may get a lovely Stolen Throne collab or a lovely Rojas collab?
I mean, we haven't gone down that path yet, but there's definitely potential. I mean, there's that's one of the benefits of being partners with somebody that has a manufacturing facility, right?
Oh yeah, I think I mean, like you said, you guys are two completely different spectrums of cigars out there. Where nobody could accuse either one of you of having something similar, but
Right.
out there. But I both, I love Stolen Throne and I love Rojas, and I love you. So to me, it would be one of those almost perfect marriage matches.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely something to consider as we move forward. And the biggest thing that we want to do is just get more eyes on our product. I mean, you've been one of our biggest fans forever now, it seems like, and we appreciate that and love being on these calls. And it's just there's still a lot of people out there that don't know our product yet. So that's really what we want to try to do is get more people to try our cigars.
Yeah, and they need to. And if they haven't, they're missing out on delicious treats of the mouthful for sure. So, have you guys been in the lab any recently, working on anything new?
So, I mean, we're always working on something new, but we're not focused on something new right now. We're focused on trying to get more people out there to know our stuff.
Sure.
We've got 8 different Vitolas, 4 different blends of cigars, and a lot of people are just kind of like, oh, I've seen them, but haven't necessarily tried them, or definitely haven't got them on the shelves yet. So we'd love to just get farther into that before we start. I don't want to have like 15 different blends out there. I want to have people trying our stuff before we start getting too crazy.
Sure. But I think you have definitely branched out and are from that regional level of being a cigar to a national cigar. I mean, you're readily available throughout the entire country. you're featured prominently in plenty of Cigar of the Month clubs out there. So, that reach is there, and I guess whether people try you or not, they should. I mean, I can't force them to, but if I could, I would. I'm not, you're
Right.
going to smoke this and you're actually going to like it. And then you're going to go,
Exactly.
where's this been my whole life? And I'm going to go, you don't listen to me.
That's what we need. More people listening to you. So other than about the Bears stuff.
Well, I mean, when you win, it's easy to sit there and crow because for years I took shit from you guys about the Bears losing. So for once, I get to stand on that soapbox.
The thing is, like, for me, like, I have a lot of respect for the Bears in general. Bears-Packers rivalry, oldest rivalry in football. So I wasn't mad about the Bears. I was rooting for the Bears after they beat the Packers. So
The Bears, baby. Yeah, Chris knows. Chris knows. That's right. As I got to get ready to get my Indiana Bears gear, apparently.
is that happening for sure?
It's over 50-50.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been hearing all the reports, but you never know until something's actually moving forward, right?
Yeah, you had the governor of Illinois come out and go, well, the taxpayers of Illinois aren't going to be on the hook to fund useless things like a football stadium. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you fund a lot of useless shit with taxpayer money on that. This is actually generating revenue, whereas what you're giving money to isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for Chicago, it's one of those things where it's small town. It's small stuff for them, but I don't know. I think the Bears are going to make the NFC Championship next year.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, it's out there. Good. So for some of the people out there who are watching, who may not know about Lovely Cigars, I'll hand it over to you to give them the Cliff Notes version of what Lovely Cigars is all about.
So Lovely Cigars is a brand based in history. I mean, ultimately, that's what I love about the industry is it's rich in history in general. Lovely Cigars, this exact logo was on a box of cigars that I picked up, I don't know, close to 20 years ago. And I found out that there was this vast history in Northeast Wisconsin, Green Bay specifically, where we live. And I wanted to see what we could do to bring back and revive this old brand. And, there is a tremendous amount of history based on manufacturing here in Wisconsin. And it was just such a cool thing. I love the logo. I love everything about what was made back then. And I just thought it was such a cool thing. And it was sad to see it just going away. So we wanted to revive that old brand, bring it back to life. Used to be, Cuban cigars that were made right here in Green Bay. And just a cool thing to know that your town made stuff like that, late 1800s, all the way into the 60s when the Cuban embargo hit. That's when they had to stop making cigars here because they couldn't get the tobacco anymore. So I'm kind of a history nerd when it comes to those types of things and love that stuff. And I just fell in love with it when I saw it. And that was one thing where I used to own a cigar lounge. And that was something I always thought, like, if I could do something, in the industry and I could try to bring something back or bring something to the industry, how would I do it? And this is kind of the vehicle for doing that. So just love that side of the industry in general. So excited to be able to bring something that, people like you can enjoy. And I love the cigars, but it's even better when people that don't know me, or don't know us love the cigars too. So.
Yes. And, I don't think a lot of people out there know the rich history of tobacco, between tobacco growing and the manufacturing of tobacco in Wisconsin. They had, so there was advertisements back in the early 1900s and 1920s that touted Wisconsin tobacco, that the best cigars are rolled with binders that were grown with Wisconsin tobacco because they were hardy, they were thick, they could you could pack them very well, and it was just, you know, that rich history there. And then the continuing on with the manufacturing, like you said there in Green Bay, and of course the 162, which is one of the tribute cigars to the manufacturing there, which I love.
Yeah, yeah, it was the 162nd Rollers Union, which was at one point in time, like, if not the largest, it was one of the largest rollers unions in the country, which is just crazy to think about, you know. There was a lot going on up here back then in relation to the tobacco industry, and you know, it's as soon as that embargo hit, well, even before that, when this, you know, factory made stuff started hitting, that's when it started to hit the industry, and things changed. So to be able to be part of it today and bring this back is really something that I'm excited to be a part of.
Sure. Yeah. You know, so with that change in the distribution that you had talked about earlier, moving over to Lee and Stahl and Thrones handling out your distribution on that, is do you feel that that's going to provide you now with a bigger opening for moving into more markets that you may be out of, just because of what his distribution is between Stolen Thrones and with Rojas?
Yeah, so the way that Lee goes to market a little bit differently than a lot of other cigar brands. You know, it's not just based on you know, brokers and things like that. So we're kind of working with them on that same side of things. So we're hoping that this relationship helps open up doors, helps get people excited about the brand. You know, that might have seen it, not known about it, but if they say, hey, there was Stolen Throne and we love Stolen Throne, let's check these guys out, right? Let's give them a shot. And that's all we can hope for, you know, is to get a chance in getting somebody's humidor. So ideally, that would be the idea behind it, is working with those guys, helping to promote their brand and promote our brand, and have good synergy throughout. So we're excited about it.
Sure. I think it's a great move. I do. And you know, are you, or did you guys decide to go in on the California baloney?
I mean, at this point, that was just outside of what we could manage. You know, that there's a big expense involved in it, and you know, if you're not one of the legacy brands, we had very little momentum over there, basically zero. So from that side of things, it was just tough to say, yeah, we want to do this when we're not getting the revenue out of it. So we did not do it at this point.
Sure, I get it, and I've that's just kind of been over the last couple months a question I've asked a lot of brands when they've come on, and whether they're going to comply with the California registration tax, and all of them have said no, just because of what you said. They just didn't have a big enough foothold in California, or they only had one shop, or they didn't have any shops, and it just, you know, that expense can be gone, that can go elsewhere, you know. And I agree with it. It's just, it's a ridiculous way to go. And then now they're adding on to it and making it even worse.
Yeah, they're just making it hard for people to do business over there. And you know, I mean, why should we struggle to try to work with someone that doesn't want to work with us? You know, unfortunately, it sucks for the people in California, but there's not much we can do about it.
Yeah, so that $1,000 per SKU on there is like that for first 3 years, and then it goes up 5%, and a year after that, and then if passed in legislation this year, they're going to ban all online sales into California.
Yeah, they just don't want people smoking over there. That's just all there is to it.
Of course. cigars. And why would
demonize the cigar smokers right along with the cigarette smokers and everything else,
Well, when we get labeled into that group when we're not part of it, and it doesn't matter that, these couple recent court rulings out there, basically said we're not the same. You have to treat them differently, but I think a few of these states out there don't care.
No.
And nobody's going to hold them to it. And it's sad that you're probably going to see places like California, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York really fall off the map for consumers because they're just going to make it unaffordable for anybody to be able to have that type of enjoyment.
Yep. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks, especially for, it's a big market. It would have been great to be a part of it, but they make it too hard.
Oh, yeah. Correct, AJ. They make all the money and we're left holding the bag. Yeah. You hold it open for them too. That's why I was against some of the boutique brands that decided they were going to comply in with it, because you're essentially helping the state rob you. And by doing that, you're also robbing a lot of the other brands out there too.
Right.
You're not doing any help or service to other smaller brands out there by you deciding to comply in with it. But again, if you have a big market or a big foot in California, okay, then it may be worth it for you to do. But for the most part, not a lot of small brands have that type of footing in California. It's a hard market to get into to begin with, and then you add in the taxes, and then you have to add in the fact you got to pay a broker, and then you got to add in the fact that that you've got to reimburse the broker because they got to put all the money up front for that, and it's just trickle down that just doesn't do anybody any good.
Right. I mean, if we want to double the price of our cigars just to sell in California, right? That's not what we want to do. We want to be in that sweet spot kind of range, that like $10 to $12 for a cigar. That's really where we want to be. I want people smoking the cigars. I don't, that's the idea, is I want to get a lot of people trying our cigars and saying, hey, this is a great cigar and I can afford it. And they're making it too hard.
Yeah. So you guys going to be back at PCA this year?
That's the plan right now. We're trying to figure out logistics and all that good stuff. So there's a couple things that have popped up that we're trying to work through, but that is the plan.
I enjoy seeing you guys out there. It was a shock that first year I saw you guys out at PCA. I was so happy to see you guys there. That's how I knew you guys were going to make it.
Yeah, man. I loved being in New Orleans last year too. I like that town way more than Vegas personally. So it's a fun town, fun vibe everywhere you go. Everyone wants to have a good time. So I really loved it down there last year.
I did too. Was it a good show for you last year?
It was a good show, yeah. No complaints. I mean, every year the show is great. We get to see a ton of people. We get to meet new customers. Our first show I think was, we were like a novelty, so we were new. And last year somebody was saying, he's like, you're still here. That says a lot, that you guys are still here when there's a lot of people that, were there the same time we were for their first show that haven't been able to make it back. So, we're excited about that we're still here and people are starting to pick us up. It's just got to keep that machine moving forward,
Yeah, I think you guys are on the right path. I mean, your blends speak for themselves. I enjoy all your blends. I think that they're different, they're unique. They each one provide me with something different depending on what I'm looking for. They're one of those, your Lovely Cigars is one of those brands that's in my, I just want to smoke something humidor where it doesn't require any thinking. I can just put my hand in. If I pull out a Lovely Cigar, I know it's going to be a great chill night because it's just, the flavors are good.
Yeah, man. That's the best kind of feedback I could get. I love hearing that stuff. So that's fantastic.
I just, I just like how how really everything has just got this such smoothness on the palate, and then that smoke just it's so silky, and it's all of them are all like that. It's really smooth on the palate. You really pick up all the flavors. There's nothing overly complex about your flavor profile. You just pick up all the flavors beautifully. They just meld into the mouth, and it's just so good.
Again, love to hear it, man. Thank you, AJ. Appreciate it too.
AJ owns Big Country Cigars.
Ah, fantastic.
So he's referred to around here as the legend.
The legend.
The legend.
Where does that come from?
Because I was on a live on Instagram with him on there, and I was like, okay, and I just kind of dropped it, and it annoyed him. And it annoyed him to the point that every time I saw him, I call him legend, and he'd just get annoyed by it. Now he just owns it because I say it to him way too much. He'll call me on the phone, and I'll just, oh, what's up, legend?
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I do give honest. I mean, that's why like that. It's one reason why brands like me is because I'm gonna give honest feedback. If I like it or don't like it, if it's for me, not for me. But I'm never gonna trash a brand. I'm never gonna say it's not. It's just not for me. But I'm gonna tell everybody they need to go smoke it anyway, just because maybe they picked up something in it I didn't that makes it phenomenal, or maybe that flavor profiling is something that they enjoy, and I'm gonna and that's down their wheelhouse where it may not be down mine.
Right. Yeah, the best cigar out there is your favorite cigar, right? Whatever that one is. If that's your favorite cigar, that's the best cigar for you. So I might think it's terrible. I might not like it at all, but that doesn't mean it's not a good cigar.
I always tell people there's no bad cigars out there. There's just cigars that are for you and not for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it is. And everybody has their preferences out there, and I know where I tend to gravitate to, and it may not be what you gravitate to, but that's all right.
Yeah, exactly. I know just in general, overall, I tend to lean towards Nicaraguan tobacco. I like Dominican tobacco a lot as well, but for me, if I'm looking, I'm going to pick a Nicaraguan cigar over almost anything else, probably 80% of the time.
Yeah, I tend to gravitate towards Nicaraguan too. I have now, like I said, we talked about earlier, I've been on a broadleaf kit,
yeah.
But the last couple weeks I have been exploring Panamanian tobacco. And I have been thoroughly impressed with what I've had. And I got to say that, every couple of years there's always a run where, the hot cigars are coming out of a certain country, the tobacco is. And I think you can probably see within the next year there's going to be a big market out there with a lot of stuff coming with tobacco out of Panama.
Interesting. I have to explore that a little more myself. I do smoke a lot of our stuff personally. It's we made it and blended it for ourselves, so that's a natural thing. But I do like to try as much other stuff as I can. It's the only way I'm going to know what's out there.
When you guys went into the lab to work on the blends, did you guys have an idea of what you wanted for in each of those cigars, or did you just kind of, go with, I know I like this, this, and this. Let's see how it works?
Initially, and even still, like to this day, like as opposed to saying like I want this tobacco or that tobacco, it's more of what do I want to experience while I'm smoking the cigar. That's really what drives how we make it. So for our original one, we wanted to have something with some spice on it, some complexity. We wanted it to kind of have a little bit more transition throughout versus our Bay City lines, our Connecticut and our Maduro. We wanted to have more of that, a little bit more consistency throughout, but rich, deep flavor profiles, and very well balanced. So as opposed to like saying, I want this tobacco or that tobacco, going in more of saying, this is what I want to experience while I'm smoking the cigar. So going through, putting them together, trying the filler in the binder. And really, that's, to me, it was kind of like, all right, if we try the filler and the binder together, and then we can imagine what it's going to be like to add the wrapper on top of that. That's more of kind of the direction that we wanted to go with it, to try to get what we were trying to get out of the cigars. And I think as far as our Maduro goes, it's phenomenal. And our Connecticut, I would put there up against anybody else's Connecticut on the market. There's a tremendous amount of actual flavor in our Connecticut. It's not a light flavored Connecticut. It's a full flavored medium Connecticut.
I would, that's what I was going to say. I'd say your Connecticut sits at that higher end of medium for me personally. Not quite to that medium full range, but at that higher end of medium, and it's very good. And it's the flavors just, they pop phenomenally in that Connecticut. It's I put it up there. For me, it's probably a top 10 Connecticut cigar for me personally. It just, it runs that gambit of flavors, of that traditional Connecticut flavors that I want, but then it gives me a little bit more of other things I wasn't expecting.
Right.
So it's what I like. I like that. It's not flashy, but it's good.
Right.
It really catches. If you're not paying attention, it'll catch you off guard.
Exactly. Yep. And I don't want something that's gonna blow your socks off, and that's the difference. I want something that if I smoke the cigar and I'm like, man, I really love that, I want to have another one, then you feel like you can have another one. You know what I mean? Like that's ideally what I want our cigars to be. You can be content after having one, or you can say, damn, that was good, and I want to have another cigar.
Sure.
Yeah.
And whereas here I put the 162, is for me, it's on that lower end of medium, but the retro on this thing is just full. Like it is a haymaker to the nostril. Like, I don't know how there's so much spice in that retro when everything on the palate is just it's sitting there as a very nice flavor, and then you get hit with that, you're like, whoa. All right. I remember the first time I smoked this, and with the retro, and I was just like, holy cow, that is like doing a line of pepper. Wow. I didn't expect it, just solely based upon, the lightness and the creaminess on the mouth, and then to get hit with that. Okay, all right.
There you go. That's fantastic.
I like it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold out my accolades for these guys and my admiration for their tobacco and their cigars, because they're phenomenal. That's said. I'll praise you all day long on here, but I can't help the fact that he supports the Packers. That everybody has that one friend that's a little
a little off, yeah. You kind of can't help it when you're raised here. There's really no other option. It's just how it is.
I haven't been up to that part of Wisconsin in a long time. It's been a while.
You should come out for a Packer Bear game.
One of these days, I'd love to. It was in my goal to do, and then having a kid kind of throw a wrench in all that shit.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
So now I'm very selective in places and things that I go and events that I do.
Man, that's what you got to do when you got a kid, man. You got to do that stuff. You can't be gone all the time. You got to be there for your kid.
I recommend everybody start over in your 40s. Said no one ever.
Do you have older kids too?
I got a 21-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Oh, I had a 6-year age gap, and I thought that was a lot.
Then I can tell you that there was no plan for any more.
I can imagine.
You know, I barely see the 21-year-old. She's like always, it's like maybe a total of 3 minutes a week.
Right.
Like you gotta, I told her a couple weeks ago, I go, I'd like to see you more. And I was like, that's not a suggestion. That's like me telling you, you don't need to be hiding out in your room all the time.
Right.
Yeah. I'd like to see you more.
So our oldest is 24, and so she's out of the house, has her own place, and so in order to like do stuff with them, we do every other Sunday we do a family dinner night, and so that was this yesterday. That's when we did our family dinner. So she came over, brought her boyfriend, and we rotate. So one of us cooks, one of the family cooks, could be one of the kids, could be one of us, and then we do game night afterwards, and that's a ton of fun, So an excuse to get everybody together, and we have a lot of laughs, and it's a blast. So try doing something like that. Make her cook for you.
Oh no.
No.
No. I've had her cooking. No.
You gotta you can help out a little bit. Be like, oh hey, try some of this.
Well, look, part of the deal in letting her move it back into the house was we need help with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the attitude that she gives she's inconvenienced attitude by having to watch the kid. And I go, well, what do you have going on? You got nothing going on. So how are you inconveniencing you sleeping until noon? How are you inconvenienced? It's like, and not asking you to like watch her all day, like 2 hours. Like,
right.
You can't get 2 hours out of your darkness retreat you have going on up there to watch the kid. Come on.
I remember being 21, so I get it. I get it.
I do too. I do too. I tried talking to her about this boy she's seeing. I was like, look, I was a 20-year-old boy once too. I can tell you, no 20-year-old boy thinks like how he's talking to you. I can tell you that much. All right. 20-year-old boys have one thing on their mind. All right, and it ain't what he's telling you. It's all bullshit.
Right. That's just to get to the one thing he's got on his mind.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I may be an old man, but I was a 20-year-old boy once.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, I still feel like I'm a 20-year-old boy up here, even though I don't move like a 20-year-old boy anymore. But that's how I think still. I still think like that all the time.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I have that mentality of a 20-year-old boy. I'm like, you never lose that as a man. It actually becomes way more fun in your 40s to have that kind of mentality.
Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just get old.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, hey, why can't I still enjoy some of this stuff? I mean, I'm not going to participate, but I can enjoy it.
There you go. I'm the same.
I get home from work. I can tell you this. I ain't going to be doing any of that stuff, but I'll sit and watch. I'll put the ice packs on the knees.
Right. Sit and watch, sit and relax a little bit. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, I can tell you this though. I cannot keep up with a toddler though. That's.
Dude, I can't imagine. My wife and I just went out for coffee yesterday, And you know, at I don't know, noon or something like that, there was mom and a dad, like 3 little kids, and we both were like, there is no way I could handle a little kid right now.
Oh no, I'm just like, and it's always she always wants to do stuff. Always wants me. It's like I think she's part polar bear because she's like it's cold and she's like outside and she's like come outside. I'm like it's cold. No, no. She'd come in and grab my coat and hand it to me. She's like no outside. I'm like all right, well,
Yeah,
I
how
guess
do you say no? You got a beautiful little girl. I've seen her pictures. How do you say no to that, right?
it's hard. It's hard not to. Yes. Yesterday was a night. Yesterday was like one of those nice days, and the snow was like the snow that it came down a couple days earlier was like that perfect like melt consistency where it was soft enough to form it and to make so we made little snowmen all over the yard yesterday.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
But yes, I don't recommend it. Anybody in your 40s, don't start over.
Yeah, I've talked to people that had kids when they were 40 and they're like, oh, it's so much better to have kids when you're older. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, our youngest is 18 right now, and we're like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of them moving out, being adults. I'm like, this isn't looking too bad in my 40s, you know?
This is the only thing I'll say. I'm a better parent in my 40s than I was in my 20s just because of that experience factor.
Right.
But, you know, nobody has that kind of energy in their 40s to keep up with a little kid who's always on the go. You just can't do it. It's not. It it's one of my greatest it's one of my greatest uh, thrills in life in being a dad, but I also know my limitations too.
Yeah. I hear that, man. I hear that. Amazing to watch them grow up. And I don't know. I always thought it was just like better as they got older. Like I enjoy kids more and more as they get older, as they turn into like their own person, have their own personalities. So I think every year gets better, and now we're at the point where it's like, all right, is my daughter going to get married? Are we going to be like grandparents soon? Is that coming? That's scary as shit, man. So I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Well, you get the experience of having another baby around, but then when you get tired of it, you just give it back to the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to listen to your daughter go, well, where was where was this guy when I was growing up? You wouldn't let me do this. It's like, well, there's different rules.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not probably going to ever say no to a grandkid. You
I
know what I
can't.
mean?
I can't even say no to my daughter. All right, I can't even say no to her. Like, all right, well, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you going to get your 21-year-old smoke cigars with you? You get her to smoke cigars?
No, nah, she's not into that.
My daughter smoked one cigar, flavored cigar, of course, but she wasn't into it.
Yeah, no, she's not into it. You know, she's trying to find her own her own little path of what she kind of wants to do. She like me, not a big drinker, so she's not really into the whole alcohol stuff on that, and she's not really, into uh, the Mary Jane. She'll partake, but she's not really into it. So I can take that. That's a good thing out there, but you know,
Hey, that's all good, man.
but if she wants to, I mean, I'm happy to show her the way.
Hey, someone's got to teach her the right way.
I think there's somebody better that could do that than me. You know, Like you know, she's 21 but doesn't have a driver's license because she was never really wanted to do it. So now she got her permit. So now we've been working on the driving. She's a terrible driver. She's terrible. I'm like, they really need to make training vehicles for parents and kids so you have brakes on your because doesn't matter how much you slam that invisible brake in the passenger seat and hold on to the old shit bar, it doesn't the car doesn't stop. I'm like, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Red light, red light,
Right.
red light, red light.
Oh, the joys. The joys. Now you got to do it all again in 14 more years.
Don't remind me.
You'll forget all about this first one when you do the next one.
Probably. That's just because her and I are kind of, you know, we got that inseparable bond, you know. So probably, you know, I think she's gonna be, you know, she likes doing very girly stuff, but she's also very tomboyish too. So, you know, she likes to put on princess dresses and play in mud.
It's awesome.
You know, and I'm down for that. I'm like, all right, I can work with that.
Right? I had to. I mean, my daughter knows how to change tires. She knows how to do more stuff than my boys do. Honestly, you know, as far as that stuff goes, because I wasn't gonna let her be a stranded, you know, helpless woman. She needed to be able to understand and how to do those things. So she's she's well equipped to handle life.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was working on the sink the other day, and she was right down there with me on that. You know, I'm like, I mean, she's not at the point yet where she can hold the flashlight. That that's that becomes a fun game. But she's down there, and then she's like, "What's that? Oh,
Yeah,
what are you doing? Oh, let me try. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, tighten that up.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like,
Hmm.
but yeah, I agree. You know, I think every girl needs to know the basics of how to do things on their vehicle
Yep,
and do stuff around the house. Just the, you know, she wants to know more. I'll teach her more.
that's awesome.
I used to change all my, you know, like I used to change the oil in my truck, but then when I got this new truck a few years back, you can't get to the oil filter unless you're like standing directly under it. So putting it up on blocks, you still can't get to it. So now it's like this is how they get you to now have to pay to have an oil change done.
Right? Oh well. I'm not a fan of working on cars in general, so just it's just not my thing, you know. But
Me either, but you know,
sometimes you got 'em.
you know, I know enough that I can do some things, but I'm not like all out mechanic on that. Like I can change a tire, I can, you know, I can check you know, I can change a battery, you know, I can change oil, but you know, don't ask me to like replace brakes or something. And now you're getting
That's what YouTube's for, though. If you got to do it, man.
good old YouTube. Yeah,
Exactly.
I've used that many of times.
Exactly. So, how's
Work
the
started work
cigar
started
treating you?
putting work started putting troubleshooting videos up on YouTube, and I'm like, boy, this new generation of techs that lazy they can't take the time to learn how to do this stuff. Yeah, it's like how do I calibrate this? Oh, well, now they put a video. Coke put a video up on how to do it yourself.
Right. So, how's the end of the cigar treating you?
It's fantastic. Like I said, I've never had a bad experience with Lovely Cigars.
Good.
How many retail shops are you currently in now? Do you know?
We're in that 100 and something range. We just cracked 100 this past year. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're still having some pretty consistent growth, and we just want to keep moving it forward. Keep moving the needle.
Outside of the Wisconsin area, where's your biggest market at?
I would say probably Illinois has been a really good market for us. Have quite a few shops down there. Um, it's easier for me to get down there and do some more travel and see people, so that's probably has a lot to do with it. Um, yeah, I mean we're Midwest heavy just because that's where we're located, so it's easy for people and shops to say, "Hey, this is another Midwest brand, try them out." Um, and that was kind of our go-to-market strategy to begin with. Like Florida is hard to break into. Obviously, California is basically impossible now. New York's tough to break into, but people kind of overlook the Midwest. So that was kind of how we wanted to get started.
Sure, sure. But I think you've succeeded very well in your 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 idea of revitalizing a brand and bringing it back, and I think you've done it justice.
Thank you, appreciate that. Means a lot when somebody enjoys our stuff, especially somebody that has a platform like you do and willing to talk to us and you know engage with us. That's awesome.
Well, it's been such a long time since I actually formally had you guys on the show, and I was like, well, I want to bring you guys back on. I want got a whole new audience of people out there who come on to subscribing on YouTube and Facebook, and I just said, I think it's a good opportunity to one showcase a brand that I really like, and to you know let you get introduce you to a whole new audience of people out there who've been watching, who've come on with me over the last year.
Absolutely. We got a
Yeah.
question. What's my favorite pairing with one of your cigars? Um, I think my favorite pairing is with our original cigar, our original Elegante X2. I love a good cup of black coffee with that. For me, that's like on like a Sunday morning when it's nice out. I can sit outside, have some coffee, smoke a cigar. It's to me that's kind of a little slice of heaven right there. So I know a lot of people like to have bourbon and different things, but for me that's one of my favorites. That's my go-to.
Oh yeah. Oh Chris. Oh Chris. Yes, I know she is, but she takes after her old man, I guess. Although I'm an old man who's been working manual labor for the last 20 years. My body can't handle the cold anymore. I hate the cold. You know, I hate like I've been glad that this has been a very mild winter where I've only had to shovel snow like 5 times this year. Like
Yeah,
it's perfect. It's been great. It's been nice and mild. It hasn't been overly cold. You know, Seeing rain in the middle of wintertime is a weird thing since I've lived out here. Not something I'm used to.
right. I know
So
every winter, my wife and I, when it gets cold and snowy, we're like, why do we still live here? Why don't we move away? So, but it's family. It's that's what keeps us here, man.
yeah, you guys gonna become one of those snowbirds when you become empty nesters.
That sounds pretty appealing to me. we'll, we'll
Yeah,
see.
you know, spend your summers up in Wisconsin and spend the rest of the year like in Arizona or Texas or down south.
Yeah, I could see, staying through Christmas and then even like last year after we went to New Orleans for PCA, I was like, it'd be pretty cool to just be down here for 3, 4 months out of the year, live music all the time, just fun people. So I think there's a lot of places down south you could go to and get away from the snow and cold.
It was too humid for me.
Yeah, it is humid, that's for sure.
I did well. I had shorts and a hoodie on when I arrived last year, and that was just because it was snowing in Denver when I left. But when it's the moment I got off that plane in New Orleans, I'm like, holy cow, man! I got it, I got to put a t-shirt on, man. It is.
But it was warm. Now you're not in Denver though, right?
No, I'm about 80 miles north of Denver.
Okay,
And,
all right.
you
Thought
know,
so.
but if you travel, you got to go through Denver. So
Yeah, that's how it is for me. 90% of travel for me is go down to Chicago and then go somewhere else from Chicago.
yeah, I'm looking forward to PCA again this year. I'm really looking forward. I really liked New Orleans last year. I thought it was a great choice. I'm not looking forward to back to Vegas next year. It's just
Yeah,
it's so expensive in Vegas, and it just you know it's not fun. And the fact that it's like in the middle of March next year,
yeah.
you know, and so now it's like, come on, But we get to christen the brand new section of the event center of the conference center next year.
Mm-hmm.
We get to be the very first event that they held there.
It'll probably be the last time they let us in there when we start smoking all up.
Yeah, kind of like over at the Venetian, where they kind of like, yep, you guys can't do it here anymore.
Right? Exactly. So, California's not going to let us come over there. So, well, I don't know why we should do it down in Florida sometime.
Well, so the thing that I understood was that there's only 3 places that have an event center big enough that will allow smoking and that can house everything, and that's Vegas, New Orleans, and Tampa. And I go, well, Tampa wouldn't be so bad, and that's home base for so many brands out there
Right?
that for them it would be very easy for them to be able to do a lot more events type stuff that's going, instead of it being limited like it is in Vegas, and little limited in New Orleans. But this year the PCA is teaming up with the NOLA Cigar Fest, so you're going to have a lot of joint events going on. During for during before, during, and after. So
Nice. I'm surprised there's not a place in Texas we could go to.
I'm sure that there is, but they're not going to allow smoking.
Yeah. Yeah.
New Orleans gave a variance to their indoor smoking uh, ban for us to hold the event there.
Yeah.
Primarily because there's a lot of money coming, and I wouldn't see why a city that has that would go, oh, millions of dollars coming in. Okay, yeah, we can give you an exception variance for a week.
Yeah. Right. For 1 week.
But
Should be
some
fine.
places they just don't want to do it, and I noticed that going to like Dallas Smoke Fest, there is the amount of places that events were being held at that weren't in lounges were smaller venues. So, and a lot of it also had a lot of outdoor stuff going on, outdoor venue. So, you know, I think a lot of places just don't want to deal with the smoke issue. So,
Right.
you know, they want the people to show up, but it's like, yeah, you can smoke, but you have to be outside. Can't smoke inside.
Crazy. It's crazy. Since we're both about the same age or pretty close anyway, I remember when you could smoke everywhere, man.
I remember people smoking on planes.
Yeah. I remember the ashtrays at McDonald's and Hardee's. You remember those? Those little metal ashtrays they had all everywhere?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Do. I remember my grandpa would he was a chain smoker. He would light a cigar, and then as soon as he finished, immediately light a cigarette to cleanse his palate, to then light up another cigar. But he'd the windows were always rolled up in his car, so it's just a huge cloud.
Just
But
hot
when
boxing
he
it.
taught when he tossed the cigar out the window, that's when all the clouds just shoosh.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, before we end out the show tonight, Mike, anything you'd like to promote?
You know, I would say if you guys don't know us, or if you're interested, check out lovelyscigars.com. Give us a look. If you would like to check us out, we work through shops, right? So tell your local shop, hey, I'm interested in these guys, and let's get some boxes in there, try them out. We'd love to get our sticks in your hands. So appreciate you getting us on, and love your support. So thank you again for that, and go Pack Go 2026. Next time I'm gonna wear my Packer gear.
And I highly recommend Lovely Cigars. I've been a big fan of them since they started out, and I always carry Lovely Cigars in my humidor, my travel humidor, my personal humidor. I always got them available because I'm sold on their product. I love it. Everything that they make is completely different and unique. Nothing tastes the same, and you're gonna just get an amazing, delicious quality smoke from Lovely Cigars. So definitely go check them out. Check your local retail shop, and of course, you got a store locator on your website, so you
Yep,
can see if there's a shop next to you, or if it's a shop that is a online distributor as well, so you can purchase them online. Go pick them up. And
absolutely.
that is it for this week, guys. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I love it, Mike. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate having you on that next Monday night. Alan Sambria from Family by Loyalty. They got a new stick that's dropped, and we're gonna go over it. So tune in next week. And guys, thank you all so much. Chat, you crushed it as usual. Take care. Be safe out there. Don't do anything Mike and I wouldn't do because we're sweet and innocent boys. And we'll catch you all.